Now, in our edge exercise, you saw that the amount of blade showing was wide enough to cover the whole edge of the piece of timber. Now, clearly, when I come to a surface here, this is not going to be wide enough. And I take what I call a set of shavings. I want to be able to travel across the piece of wood or in from each edge in such a way that I don't upset the accuracy which should be there from your machine planer. I have quite often seen people planing at random, and I get very worried about what's happening to the accuracy of their surface. This diagram is to show roughly what happens. I'll put in a pencil line about 10 millimeters in from each edge, and the first shaving I take, I'll put the center of the blade, which is the center of the plane. I will put it on that pencil line and go right through, and it will cut a scallop from the edge. Clearly this is an exaggeration. Now I will also have scribbled with pencil all over the surface, and this first shaving will remove all the pencil up to this point. It tells me where the edge of the shaving is. I don't have to measure this. Just the disappearance of the soft pencil, this is my favourite soft pencil, will tell me where that place is. And that is the position for the centre of the plane for the next shaving. Now you'll just see from the numbers I'm working in from each edge, and if I were to see a narrow band of pencil in the centre, I would take two shavings, one to the left and one to the right, even though all the pencil may have disappeared on the first shaving. Now I then may take a third shaving, and I would hope to show you that the third one cuts no timber. This exercise, and many of my exercises, depend on the fact that we're working on a component-sized piece of timber with a plane of roughly this length. The size of the plane is roughly of the same order of magnitude of the size of the piece of wood. Now, if I had a bench component, like a piece for this top, which was 6 foot long, 5 foot long, and if I planed it hollow till the plane stopped cutting, I'd probably have a hollow of 1/4 of an inch or more. And similarly, you can't use the same technique for going across wide board or wide tops or wide panels. When you get on to working with these large components, you must have a decent straight edge and quite a long straight edge. And just to give you an example, when I made benches like this with students, I would get them to plane the leg hollow by a sheet of paper, about 1/4 thickness over about, 36 inches maybe. I've scribbled here, this is an extra little point. This is where I believe the snipe to be from the thicknesser, my machine thicknesser. And I'm hoping that if I take a delicate set of shavings, we may see where that small depression is. You'll notice also perhaps, I don't need an end vise to do this. Your bench top shouldn't be too slippery, and at the most, if I had to, I might put a very thin piece of plywood here and clamp it over there, out of the range of the plane, just to stop things from pivoting. I think squeezing timber, thin timber in its length, is a very bad idea. So, my first shaving, I'm moving about 10 mil, about 3/8 in towards the centre, and I'm going to take a shaving. Now, unfortunately, the pencil's disappeared, but I did feel a funny little kick happening about here and about there. And I think that was something to do with the snipe. Now I'm going to put a few little telltales on this edge, just to show you that my second shaving doesn't take an extra amount off the long edge. So my centre of plane, it goes onto this line here, and we take that through. Now I come in from the other edge, centre of plane 10mm in, take that shaving, take the next shaving, and look, mostly there's a small bit of pencil left here, but I would give that 2 shavings, one centred there and one centred there. Let's take a third. Virtually nothing happens. Now I am pleased with my experiment because this low area is caused by the thicknessing machine, and it's what we refer to as snipe. Now, before I can do accurate planing to create my datum surface, I would like this whole surface to be clean. So I'm just going to take another set of shavings off it, and I'm pretty confident that it will clean up this time. 10mm in, 10mm in, again I will take 2 shavings there, not much with the second, and nothing at all with the third. So we're now in a position to think about doing the accurate work. And in a similar manner to the way which we approached the edge, I'm going to just look at this and see what the straightness of length is. And lo and behold, there is a bump in the length. Now, in order to do that, I'm going to take a set of stop shavings.